Alright guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to replace the movement in this clock. I picked this clock up at a Goodwill the other day for I think it was $10. And it's a barrister model from Howard Miller. It's a beautiful clock. I think they cost like $750 right now online. A new movement will run probably around $340, $350. It's running, but it's running slow, so I could replace the escape platform, but for not a whole lot more money I can go ahead and just replace the whole movement. And I'm planning on putting this one in my shop, so I'll sell it, and I don't want any problems, so I'm going to go ahead and replace the movement, and I basically will have a brand new clock. So I will show you how to do that. But here's the back of it. There's the escape platform. Like I said, it's just running slow, and that movement, that thing's disgusting. Somebody must have taken it out and tried to oil it or clean it or something, because it's in pretty bad shape. But I got a new one, came the other day, so let me show you how to pull this one out and a few little tricks to do, so you'll wind up basically with a brand new clock. Alright, so the first thing we're going to have to do is remove this nut right here and take off the hands. Alright, so we have the hands removed, and now we're going to have to turn the clock around, and there's a few screws that hold the movement in, and I'll show you those in a moment. There's 4 brackets in there. If you can see that little silver piece in there, that one only has 1 screw. That one will have 2. Usually there's 2, or I've seen up to 4 screws in there. But anyways, we're going to remove those screws, and then the whole entire movement will come out. Alright, with those screws out and the brackets unscrewed, there is the old movement in my hand, ready to get the new one swapped out. Alright, so I got the old movement out, getting ready to put the new one back in. They're both identical. Everything is identical. But we will have to take these brackets off and get them mounted on here, and it's not a big deal. There's just, we're going to take off a nut and put on a nut. My suggestion is to do one at a time. If you take these 4 nuts off, this whole movement will come apart, and it takes a lot of talent to get them all back together. They'll go back together, but they only go back together one way. So one at a time, taking off the nut, and do them exactly. Take your left front, or actually left top and bottom top, like that. Because sometimes they are a little bit different, and they have a little different angle, especially on a Hermely. They're definitely different. So let me get that done, and then we'll go from there. Alright, I got the brackets on now, and I got them back as close as I could remember where they were. And I've got them snug. I've got these nuts right here. They're just snug, they're not tight, because what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to put it in the case, and we're going to have to move it around and manipulate it a little bit so that these winding arbors right here all line up nice and even, so you can get your key in, so you can get the clock wound. So let me do that, and I'll show you how I do some of the adjustments, and we'll go from there and see what happens. Alright, I was able to get the screws back in. Got 1 screw in each bracket. Everything's nice and snug. I was able to manipulate the movement around a little bit so that I could get the winding arbors lined up right. Also, I wanted to get the hand shaft as close to the center as I possibly could. I did have a little bit of trouble, and I forgot to mention to you guys, this little piece right here, it's the silent switch, and it slides on that little bracket right there. And for some reason they've started putting a T-slot screwdriver head in there instead of a Phillips head or a straight head. So I went ahead and had to find a straight slot screwdriver that would fit there and change that and move it. But it just slides up and down, and I've got it where it sits in that hole, and I think everything will be fine. But I've got the front taken care of. The hand shaft is pretty centered in there. The winding arbors, I don't know if you're going to be able to see them when we get it on there, but you can barely see the center of the winding arbors are all lined up. So everything should be good. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to pull it out. We're going to oil it and then get it all tightened up and put it back together. I've got a video that I shot on the same exact movement earlier on how to oil it. It is pretty critical that you oil these movements. They are supposed to come from the factory pre-oiled, and most of them do, but Hermely a couple years ago had a tremendous amount of trouble, and a lot of movements came with no oil. Some of them actually had some bad oil in it. They were trying a new synthetic that was horrible. Actually, I think I've got one that I picked up Friday that we put a movement in 2 years ago, and it's already died, so I have a feeling that's going to be one of them. But anyways, I'm going to show you how to oil it as well, or you can go to the other video and watch it. It's going to be the same thing. But please make sure you do oil them before you stick them back in. You'll do yourself a big favor. Alright folks, so I've got the movement pulled back out now. I went ahead and got these nuts good and tight. So these brackets are exactly where I need them to be. And now, before I put it all back together, I'm going to oil it. And I'm going to tell you all again, it's in most of my videos, one of the most important things you could do to these movements is to oil them. You could talk to 10 different clock guys and you get 20 different answers. But I'm going to show you what we use. We use an oil called Horace Whitlock's Premium Quality Clock Oil. We've serviced over 3,000 grandfather clocks and some other clocks, and I'm telling you, this is some of the best stuff we can find. We actually sell it in a kit, and it comes with everything you'll need, but we will just go ahead and pour a little bit into this little cup, and then you've got a small pin, an oiling pin that you're going to use. Basically, all you're going to do is dip a little bit on the oiling pin into every one of the bushings and pivots. You're just going to put a tiny little drop, not much. You don't want to over oil it, and so we always put in just a tiny little bit on each one of them. There is a bunch of different oils you can get online, and there was one here that we purchased. This oil right here. It's a good oil, but the delivery system on any of these types of oils is just horrible. If you go pouring a little bit, and I'm not going to do it, but if you pour a little bit of oil out of these spouts, you're going to pour too much. When you put the movement back in place and you set it up right, that oil is going to start running down the back side of the movement, and it's like a siphon. It's going to pull all the other oil out of the pivot hole, and within a few months, you're going to be just running this thing dry. So, but I've got it oiled on both the front and the back on this one, so I am going to go ahead and put it back in. And then we got just a few more little adjustments to make, and then we should be good to go. All right, I got everything put back in, and now I got to adjust these hammers to make them sound nice. I'll let you hear them, what they sound like prior to. That's pretty sad. So we'll adjust these hammers, and they're very simple to adjust. You can sometimes just adjust them with your fingers. Sometimes they might take a pair of pliers. I'm going to use a pair of pliers on the needle nose just to reach back inside there. That's the very first one back there, and I'm just going to put a pair of pliers back there. Hold it with my finger and take a pair of needle nose pliers and just bend that rod just a little bit. So if you can look at this, I'm going to take this, hold it with one finger. I have to hold the camera, so I can't do things very well right now. And then just take the pair of pliers and bend them and adjust them a little bit to get that so they sound good and clear. Let me get that done and we'll come back to you. All right, let's see if this sounds any better. Much better. They're hitting much better. One of them sounds a little rough, but I'll get that taken care of. After this, there's one more adjustment, and I'll show you how to do it, and then the clock should be ready for being tested. All right, the last adjustment I need to make is on this hour hand. I'm sorry, the minute hand. If you listen carefully, when it clicks, all right, it should be clicking on the top of the hour. So, simply going to take it off. All right, so got the hand off. There's a nut right there on the hand itself. And what you're going to do is very simply just take a pair of pliers and hold that nut tight. And that hand, they actually make a tool for this, but I don't have one handy. But this hand will actually slip back and forth. So we're going to adjust it, put it back on, adjust it again until we get it so it's hitting right at the top of the hour and the quarter hours. So let me get that done, and then we'll come back and show you what else needs to be taken care of. All right, so I got it adjusted, and now we'll see if it's going to hit right at the top. And it did. So that's perfect. A little loose because I don't have the nut on there, but we're going to go ahead and just listen to how many times it's going to chime. All right, 6 times. So I'm simply just going to take my hour hand and slide it on there and drop it down to the 6. I'll put my minute hand at the top of the hour. I'll go ahead and get that nut and put it on there, tighten it up, and we're good to go. All right, I got everything all put back together. We got it adjusted correctly. We're going to watch it for about a week before we put it in our shop for sale. And I was going to let y'all know that the in the description down there, if you click on it, you'll see where we will have a link to the clock oil, the oil kits that we sell, also the movements that we sell. We have a website, and it does describe some of the movements, but there are some really strange movements in a lot of these clocks, as well as grandfather clocks. So I'm going to leave our email address as well. Actually, it's my personal email address. And if you want to just email me with any questions, or if you want to just send us a picture of the back of your movement, or send us the numbers of the movement that are on there, we'll be able to see if we can find a new one for you. And just basically answer any question you want. But thanks for watching, and if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, we're going to be putting a lot more videos on. There's a few on there now, but I'll be putting quite a few on there, especially on some grandfather clocks. I got a great grandfather clock that pretty much looks like it fell off a truck, and everything that could ever be wrong with a clock, this one's it. So we're going to rebuild it from top to bottom and have it step by step. But thanks for watching, and again, if you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you.